This is the White. Back again, my haunted Fowler. My previous video was me trying to kill myself through exercise. It's a slow torture, but hey, I gotta try and stay ahead of the game, stay ahead of death. That sounds morbid. I'm just overweight. That's staying ahead of death. But I'm in the old jail on a 3-mile walk. Thought I'd stop in here, check in with everybody, see how they're doing. Sort of a carryover from my earlier message. We got a lot coming up in September. Pretty excited. It's going to be a very busy month. We are going to be a part of the world's largest ghost hunt. We've got the freak out at the Fowler. And keep watching. I'm going to be sharing as we go. We're going to have some very special guests in the month of September. We're pretty damn excited. So I'm going to play one of those tease games. Just keep it. I can't say anything yet, but just keep watching. And once we can share, we'll share the hell out of it on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, the top of the building, a megaphone, running into buildings, running into classrooms, yelling it. Anyway, it's just kind of stupid, but it's definitely going to be, I think, something people are going to be interested in and very excited to see. But while I'm here, I just thought I'd give the jail a go. I haven't been here in a while. That heavy breathing is me because I'm on a 3-mile walk. So why don't I shut up, and if there's anybody in here with me, make your presence known, please. I'll stick my ugly mug in there so you can see that if a noise comes, it's not my mouth. Jacob Milling, are you here? Why did you murder Ada Atkinson? Did you murder Ada Atkinson or were you framed? Did you murder her, yes or no? If yes, knock once. If no, knock twice. Is there anyone else in here with us besides, well, I say besides Jacob, but he never said anything, so he may not be here. Is there anybody else in here besides me? See how my bars are? Yeah. Standard crappy signal in Fowler, Indiana. So a car just drove past. We'll just stand out here where I have a little better signal. We should be able to hear you from anywhere, whoever's here. Are you up in the top cells? Can you rattle a door or rattle anything or bang on the door? We're going to be very busy in this location throughout the month of September. Are you ready for us? Different groups, different guests. I heard a small tap. Can you do that again? Could have been anything, but if we hear it again, maybe that helps us believe it was something other than just paint chips falling. All right, I'm going to walk a bit, see how the signal is. See if I can get over by the padded cell. Maybe we can get a sound over there. So down at the end is a padded cell. If you had too much to drink or you were just a little bit crazy, they threw you in there. Is there anyone down in the padded cell? Can you knock or say something? We are in Fowler, Indiana. About 100 miles between Chicago, 100 miles from Chicago and 100 miles from Indianapolis. This is just an impromptu stop on a 3-mile walk as a follow-up to my punching bag segment earlier. There's a whole lot of me to go around. I'm trying to get rid of half of me. Oh, thought I saw a shadow, but it's my shadow. So we'll go back. Debunked. All right, I'm going to try and get down to the padded cell and not lose the signal. All right. We lost the connection, so if you hear me, great. If you don't, sorry about that. We're going to go up to the female dorm. In theory, we'll have a better signal because we're closer to the satellites. But that doesn't really help a lot here in Fowler. Oh, that's the sound of old knees, not creaking bones and ghosts. Oh, hook. So let's go up here. Got a few more bars. It is a jail. The jail is the old Benton County Jail. I'm in the female section. There's only 2 bunks in here, 2 cots. But the jail was built in 1776. Stopped being used as a functional jail in 1997. So the question is, where's that at? Fowler, Indiana. So we are about 100 miles from Chicago and 100 miles from Indianapolis. That's a car going by. This is where they would put female inmates and sometimes juveniles. Yes, Kindred Paranormal. Now, I don't have my reading glasses on, so if I butcher someone's name, I apologize. But yeah, I was on Tommy Tombstone's video. They were here at the... Sorry, I heard something. Well, they were here at the jail, and he didn't really have a lot of activity here, but we went over to the Fowler Theater, and he caught a lot of stuff in a very short period of time. I have found both places to be active. I found the theater to be a little bit more active, but I think it's got a little bit more history tied to it, of nearby deaths, unknown history of an old hotel. Oh yeah, we've got a lot of paranormal activity here in the jail, over the Fowler Theater, the Historical Society Museum, a couple of residents, one being my own house. I recently declared Fowler one of the most haunted towns in Indiana just because of the reports we've had. Sorry, I keep hearing stuff. There's such an echo in here, it could just be me. Lots of reports around the town. Yeah, Tommy's a really good guy. He and Helena and Amy, and I'm drawing a blank on her last name. Shoot. Anyway, there's a group of them that were here. I'm going to take a drink of water so you'll hear a sound in the background. It's just water. Sounds creepy. But for anybody who just joined, September is going to be a very busy month for us. We have our Freak Out at the Fowler. It was a paranormal convention. We just couldn't get any vendors this year. So it's going to be a 3-hour condensed version. We're going to have a walking tour of the town, and then people are going to get a chance to walk inside the jail here. And then I'm going to do a presentation at the theater. I'm going to just cover some stuff that we've captured over the last 4 or 5 years, stuff I've captured, stuff other paranormal groups have captured. All of it I share up on My Haunted Fowler YouTube channel. I don't get greedy. I want to share it all. You know, I will be respectful of the investigators. If they would like to not have me share their footage and only share their own, I'm cool with that, because the way I see it, it's their experience. They paid for it. Most of them have been very generous, and we will promote the heck out of them. We have some paranormal groups that actually come back and volunteer at the theater, which is awesome. Okay, I heard 2 noises that wasn't me. Almost sound like a fly. There it is again. Anyway, and then that night we're going to show the silent film Nosferatu, and we're going to have a guy come in and play an organ and accompany the movie. And then we've got overnight investigation ticket for sale for the public. So September 17th is going to be a very busy night. The weekend after that, we're participating in the world's largest ghost hunt. And then in the month of September, I'm going to have some very special guests that I got to hold back as a surprise. But as we get to the point where I can say more, I will. It's probably, well, I'm going to shut up or I'll get myself in trouble. Anyway, I want to sit a little quietly, see if I can hear something. I heard a couple of tapping sounds, but I don't know where they were coming from. All right, when I play this back, I'll see if I can pick out what that noise was. I thought maybe it was a fly flying into the light, but I'm not seeing anything. All right, we're going to go try and keep a connection so I can show you all the dungeon. I don't know what that is. Anyway, so it's the basement, but it's been called the dungeon for as long as I know, and people have referred to that for years. We had a sheriff quoted as saying they would take people down and chain them to the walls until they either went crazy or confessed or went crazy. I don't know what would come first. There we go. So hopefully the signal doesn't go away. This is the basement / dungeon. This is the records room. This section here has been the most active section of the jail ever since I've been investigating. And my assumption, or my guess, I guess, my speculation, whatever, I'm going to back up a little bit because I'm losing signal. Oh, damn it. Anyway, on the other side of that walkway is the old evidence room. And I believe that a lot of the activity we get in this space, the hisses, the growls, the knocks, the shadows, is tied to the evidence, the weapons. There are knives, guns, baseball bats used in fights. I think a lot of that negative energy manifests in this area. Let me go back, see if I can keep a signal if I walk fast, faster than the speed of internet. There we go. It's kind of hard to see, but that's a cell. These are the dungeon cells. There's 8 of them. They make the cells upstairs look like luxury suites. I couldn't imagine being put down here back in the early 1900s, or late 1800s, or actually late 1700s. No, sorry, late 1800s. My history math a little off there. But down here, no air, no light. Well, I don't know. These windows may have been there probably. They probably had some light, but they would put people down here. We don't know if this was solitary confinement. Is there anybody here with me? I'm going to ask my standard ghost hunting questions. Ghost hunting 101. Is there anyone with me? What is your name? What is my name? What's 2 plus 2? Oh, no, that's not. Sorry. I've been exercising, so I think I'm starting to lose it. Too many endorphins. I'm going to take us back, and I'm going to stand. That's a good signal. All right, we're going to see if we can get any activity in that space ahead of me. Like I said, that's the most active part of the jail that I've experienced. And I believe a lot of that activity is coming from evidence in the evidence room. Can you make a noise? If you're here, enter me. Oh, that sounds bad. Sorry. Keep it family friendly, Dwight. So, for those times that we've heard growls, voices, and noises, can you do that now? You see a person in that room? The previous room? If you're here, move a door, knock on a wall, make a sound. You have my consent. No means no. Touch me. Wait, that's not right. Sorry, this is really taking a turn for the worse, and I blame you and Shane Paranormal. All right, the silence is deafening. We'll go upstairs, and I'm going to go up to the living quarters. I'm here. Let's just do a whole damn tour. Let's everybody get to see everything. And I know we'll have a better signal upstairs. But the sheriff and his family would actually live here in the jail. And the inmates were over on this side. So here's the kitchen. There's where they would pass food through and meds. The sheriff was usually a man. The wife was the person who served the food. But that practice discontinued in 1962. And a little bit of history there. In 1958, we elected the first female sheriff in the state of Indiana. She was the wife of the previous sheriff. My guess is she thought, well, once I become sheriff, I'm not serving any more damn food. So that practice was stopped. But this is the residential area. A friend of mine, his dad was, I think, 2 years old and lived here for 2 years while his grandfather was the sheriff. We have, on this old haunted house, spacious 3-bedroom, large family bath, plenty of room for blood and ghosts and goblins. This room here is actually the most active on this floor. Shadow figures and voices of kids. Don't know any history as to why. One of the most emotional nights, though, it was a group of women. They decided they wanted to have a paranormal outing. It was sort of a, I don't know if it was a bat. It might have been. No, that wasn't the bachelor party. It was just a group of friends. And there were 2 women about my age. And they were just sitting here. And one of them, I looked over and she's just bawling her eyes out. And she said she just sensed a child in the room. And, you know, it was interesting how that occurred. No one's ever purchased it. It's owned by the county. I love the smell of asbestos and lead-based paint in the morning. Right, Kindred? But anyway, yeah, I'd love to buy the place. My wife is a little opposed to it. I win the lottery, though. She's agreed to let me buy it. Problem is I haven't played the lottery in a while. This, though, is a very, very hot and spooky section. I don't know of any paranormal history, just I know of... No, I'm sorry. Not paranormal history. I don't know any history of deaths or murder or anything up here. I just know there's been a lot of activity. Voices, shadows, things moving. Yeah, I'd love to fix this place up and even try it as a bed and breakfast. People could sleep in the cells. But this is the attic. And I will be brave because I have a friend up here. He's a bat. So if he stays his distance, I'll be okay. I don't have a light with me. I was out on a walk, so I don't really have... I was ill prepared. But this is the attic. Luxurious living at its best. Pre-stained mattresses. That's disgusting. That chair. People have sat in that chair and had weird responses to things they've done. Behind it is a trail of bat poop. Our little friend likes to stay up in the rafters there. And he shits where he eats, I guess. I will say, I don't think this is as active as the dungeon area, but it is creepy. I get chills whenever I come up here. Maybe it's the heat. Maybe I've got COVID. I don't know. But it is the heat. It's hot as shit up here. But I still get chills, even in the dead of winter. Well, in the dead of winter, I get extra chilled. You know what I mean. Spooky chills. all the history stained on that mattress. Well, you know, it does get cold here in Fowler, Indiana in the middle of winter. So stuff happens in the middle of the night to stay warm, and you never know. Just saw a satanic entity. Why would you do that to me, Big Mike? I don't need that. I'll be running out here like a 12-year-old girl. Or boy. You know, I'm not going to discriminate. 12-year-olds get scared. I don't care what your gender. All right, we've had footsteps come from that direction, so let's see if we can get some footsteps. If anybody's here with me, can you please walk toward me? I heard what sounded like moaning downstairs, but it could be from outside. It's daytime. So moaning happens at all times, right? Man, I don't even need to exercise. Just come up here. I am sweating like a hooker in church. Get out. Gene? Trying to get me panicky. All right, we'll go back downstairs. One, because nothing's happening. And two, if I'm going to pass out, I want to pass out on a nice carpeted floor. It's like a freaking sauna. I could charge just for people to come up here and take a sauna. Oh, shit. Close that, keep the bat up there. We usually have about 2 bats, one up there and one down in the basement. This is kind of gross. We get birds that get trapped in the windows. All levels have some sort of death and decay. One night, I will tell, at the bottom of the stairs, we picked up I'll call it an apparition. I don't know what it was, but on video playback, it looked like a woman. In my opinion, it looks like a woman kneeling with her head tilted to the side and a suitcase on either side of her. I was up here. I was actually doing a remote session with Rick Wade out of Michigan, and he was the one who's seen it. I was busy trying to hold the flashlight, watch the camera, and it was pretty clear. I mean, it was pretty clear. All right, I'm going to get ready to go. Before I go, all right, ask who's here. We'll give that another shot. Who's here with us? If you were a sheriff, knock once. If you were the sheriff's wife, knock twice. If you were an inmate, knock 3 times. So there's my hand in case you hear a knock. Yeah, hand puppets. Sorry. Yeah, it's an awesome house. I mean, just from the bones of it, the exterior is all limestone. I thought it was out of Bloomington, Indiana, down south of here where they have a lot of limestone. But someone told me that limestone wasn't being pulled out of those quarries in 1876. So they believe the limestone came from the same limestone that was used up in Chicago to build, Joliet. Maybe other prisons too, but it's all limestone. So if you know anything about stone tape theory, it's perfect scenario for that. The most notorious criminal we had was Jacob Nelling. 1883. He was accused of strangling and stabbing to death a 15-year-old girl from a prominent family. He was taken to Lafayette, Indiana, waiting for his trial, but the night before his trial, they brought him here. They brought him to the jail, and a group of angry townsfolk rode up on horseback. The estimates were 100 to 200 men, and they, quote, shut down the town. They told the sheriff to bring Jacob out. He refused, but it was just the sheriff and 2 deputies. So he said, I'm not bringing Jacob out, but if you want to come in and get him, I'm not going to stop you. Yeah, this house is attached to the jail. So they broke into the house. They broke him out of his cell. They took him about 100 yards from the home of the family of the girl that was murdered, and they hung him in a tree. And there was some speculation that he was framed. He was a Civil War veteran, so it's very possible he had PTSD because he couldn't recall in the story. He couldn't recall if he did it or not. There's one version where he says, well, if I must have done it. Then, if he had PTSD and he doesn't remember, because there was another person from what I read, that was arrested first, or at least taken in, but Jacob was charged with the murder, and he never had to have his day in court since he was lynched ahead of time. So that's some of what we believe is the paranormal activity here. We have a lot of haunted history. In 1964, a former sheriff at that time told the local newspaper in Lafayette that when they did a tour of the jail, that the basement, they call it the dungeon, is where they would chain people to the wall until they confessed or went crazy. Justice back in even the 1950s, 60s, there was no TikTok, there was no Facebook, there was no there was social consciousness, but there was no social media to call people out. So it's very possible the kind of justice anyone received back then was not ACLU sanctioned, probably not even Geneva Convention sanctioned. Especially for someone who was really not from the area, murdered someone from the daughter of someone from a prominent family. That person had money, and I'm sure, I'm not going to make up stories because I don't know for sure, but it wouldn't surprise me if people were not given some financial reward for what they did. All right, I'm going to need to go finish my workout before my wife gets home. I took the day off to move my son back into college. His last year as an undergrad, so that was kind of cool. I'm a big softie though, so I had to go for a walk because I get emotional. Anyway. Is the story documented anywhere? Yeah, actually Paraholics, if you Google Paraholics, they did a lot of research on the history of the jail. You do a Google search on Jacob Nelling, you'll get different story reports. The thing I have found, it seems like the further away you get from this town, the more the story changes. So it's more dramatic or more, what's the word I'm looking for? Sensational, I guess. I don't know. But the story is true. He did murder Ada. He was hung. The surrounding information around it, it's all been communicated over the years. But we have newspaper articles. Sorry, I heard something. Anyway, we have newspaper articles that corroborate some of that history. We have a lot of stuff in this town that's happened. 1907, just down the road, 2 trains collided about a half block south of the theater. 25 people were killed, 11 of them burned alive. We are, much like a lot of Northwest Indiana, we have our own Al Capone history. An Al Capone family, well, I shouldn't say Al Capone family, but the family of one of Al Capone's henchmen still live in the area. Do we investigate the jail? Oh yeah, we do that quite often. We have groups come in. September is going to be very busy. Almost every weekend we've got something going on here at the jail and the theater. Fowler, Indiana. Small town, 2,200 people maybe. I really appreciate everybody that jumped on here. I wasn't sure I was going to get much traction. I hope I made it entertaining for everyone and informative. This is a great place. It's lasted longer than a lot of the buildings in this town, but it was built to last. It is a solid limestone building. But anyway, thank you all for joining. I'm going to go finish up. Yeah, we're about 100 miles south of Chicago. So, Al Capone and his folks would travel all over Northwest Indiana. No, it's not my place. I've just been given permission by the county commissioners and the local sheriff and town police chief to do investigations here. We do charge, but all money goes back to the Prairie Preservation Guild, which is focused on historic preservation in the town of Fowler. Thank you, Kindred. So any money that comes to this for an investigation here or at the theater goes right back into the guild. We put the money back into preserving history as best we can. We're a small team, but we do our best. And we always take donations. If you love history and want to just donate money, you can go into fowlertheater.com, and there's a donation page there that goes to the Prairie Preservation Guild. We don't have our own page, but we're pretty much, the theater is us and we are the theater. Anyway, I'm rambling now. But yeah, I'll do more tours. I'll jump in and out as much as I can over the course of a year. And I'll try and go live when we have groups in here investigating, but I'll always share whatever I can after the fact. And if anybody wants to see what my ugly mug looks like, this is my haunted Fowler. I'm Dwight. And again, thank you all for jumping on, and I will talk to you all somewhere on the TikTok airwaves. Take care.